Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Potter here. Been a long time since I've done uh, much interviews. I've been interviewed, and those are going up on the website. So I want to welcome once again the amazing cosmic Dr. Raymond Keller III. Welcome, Cos.
It's a pleasure, Rob. Always happy to be sharing information with the audience at the Promise Revealed.
So we have behind him there's a picture of him with his nimbus, trying to find out how he's going to get back to the future with the Queen there, the Queen of Venus, and you can see the three books. Cosmic Rays Excellent Adventure, available on my website and on Amazon. We have all kinds of specials going on up there. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that Dr. Raymond Keller also um, wrote the Gospel of Thomas with Mary Magdalene. This is a little flyer that I was putting out in England, in Glastonbury, where Raymond and I actually presented this kind of in one of the inauguratory uh, personal meetings about the Gospel of Thomas and Mary Magdalene. He was given the technology from the Venusians that allowed him to look into the past. You can see that introduction on my website, thepromiserevealed.net, under books and under the Victory of the Light. So if you want to go to the Victory of the Light or under Jesus Christ in the Truth References segment on the top, you're going to see my 19-page introduction. And I think he's allowed me to share a couple different snippets of the youth gospel of Jesus and the gospel of Mary Magdalene. And it's an amazing technology. It was used by Aaron, the brother of Moses, in conjunction with the Ark of the Covenant. Raymond was given this and said they told him he could look at any ancient scripture he wanted, and he chose the Gospel of Thomas from the Nag Hammadi Library, and he would put his hands over those things while wearing the special technology of the Urim and the Thummim stones, the seer and the interpreter, and the breastplate of Aaron that he had. That breastplate had was made of silver and gold thread with four brass rings that went around his chest, and kind of like this Pleiadian amulet. Um, there was two stones, but this one um, that were put into glasses, a seer and interpreter. The seer was in the glasses, and the interpreter was like a little butterfly over his third eye. It was attuned to pitch frequency. So, with it being an adept, he was able to put his hands over and he went into a bilocation signal. Raymond Keller is an incredible contactee, the most prolific contactee of the Venusians that I've ever met or heard of, including Dr. Frank Strange's. Although Dr. Frank had multiple um, inner circle meetings and had more personal experiences, Raymond did live on Venus for 2.5 months. So we're going to get into Sirius, the Dogon tribe. Raymond had a gentleman who he did this PowerPoint with, was going to be sharing some information. But I'm going to kind of sit in the background here. I'm going to turn off my screen. Raymond's going to share his screen, and he's going to pull up um, this beautiful Sirius um, talk. Now, I was had a lot of things going on at the conference, and I didn't get to see that. So I really wanted to hear this information. And Sirius is very important to us um, as one of the spiritual centers, most spiritual centers in the galaxy. Would you agree, Cos?
Oh, yes, most definitely. And it's always been connected with the hierarchy of light and angelic realms. But there's much more to it than that, as we will see, and it's closely connected with events on Earth and our future in the celestial realms.
We're going into the future with Cosmic Raymond Killer. Uh, the understanding of Sirius A, B, and C, in particular, the planet Dogon, the Anunnaki, and other things. So, Raymond, let the show begin. You can go ahead and put that and play slideshow at the top. It says slideshow. There we go.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Click, no, click on slideshow. Go back up. Click on that. There you go. You
Oh,
take,
okay.
yeah, click on that. And then go back all the way, play from the beginning. And there we go.
All right. So this is a present is it's visible now, right, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a presentation that was put together by Dr. Kiva Makete Fall, who's a Dogon elder and a friend of mine. And we both have doctorates in African history from West Virginia University. And I think that everybody will uh, learn a whole lot that they never considered before about this the star of Sirius and its also connected star neighbors.
We might be asking some other questions. And there's Dr. Makete Fall, and he speaks how many languages and how
I
many
think I like 7 or 8 and very fluently.
speaks 8 languages fluently, and he plays 12 instruments. So
So before we went to the uh, transferred over to the Department of History, we were both in the foreign languages department and got our master's degrees from there. Mine was in Latin American literature with emphasis on magical realism, and he had uh, French and Spanish.
wow.
So here's Kiva again, and we worked together teaching both foreign language and history classes at WVU and other local colleges and universities within driving distance of Morgantown. And he went on, even after getting a doctorate, to study conflict resolution, world peace, and efficient energy management and other subjects that he could take back with him if he returns to Africa to help developing nations over there. Okay, one moment. Let um, let me go ahead and turn off the phone there. One moment.
There's someone calling you. How dare
Yeah.
they?
It's
Anyway, folks,
my friend Mike.
we were talking about the moon and dreams before, and there's amazing things happening um, out there. Raymond and I were talking about the backside of the moon and how they have an entire base there. I sent him a video from I think he's a French guy who's doing some revealing stuff about some images of the backside of the moon. There's a lot of them that came from the Steckling family. Fred Steckling was threatened. I was going to go watch him in Laguna Hills, and they threatened to kill him. So he didn't show up, but things are a little bit brighter now, and a lot of people are leaking some stuff. Go ahead, Cuz. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So it's interesting that many or practically all of the contactees are somehow connected with theosophy. And the basic principles of theosophy is that we're here to form a universal brotherhood and sisterhood of all humanity, to encourage the study of all fields of knowledge and endeavors, and to investigate the unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in humankind. So I always present this information because whenever we study anything esoteric, it's to further uh, our horizon of knowledge. And humankind's oldest dream is to answer the question if we're alone in the universe. The world space agencies have searched for life beyond Earth, but what if they don't have to look beyond their own cosmic backyard, for the flying saucers have landed? Hopefully, this presentation will provide some amazing answers to this profound question. So my friend Kiva is a shaman or Hogan, and is going to tell us something in this presentation about a tribal branch the African family tree of the Dogon of West Africa, particularly what the Dogon know about intelligent life in outer space. So on the left, you see traditional uh, Dogon costumes representing beings from the stars that arrived in West Africa some 5,000 years ago in the Red Cliffs area, originally in the Red Cliffs area of Mali. So you see on the map on the right that Mali is a landlocked country, um, but it's surrounded by many other countries where there are also some Dogon populations, um, like Algeria, Mauritania, Senegal, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Niger. The most sacred of the Dogon lands are situated in the Red Cliffs region of the Band Diagara and Douentza in Mali, circled in red. And you see that area extends also into Mauritania and a little bit into Burkina Faso.
You been there, Cause?
Yes, I've been there. I spent considerable time in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Senegal. Oh, and all up and down the coast highway in West Africa. But in 1995, I had the unique opportunity of traveling to Timbuktu, an ancient city and center of knowledge in the heart of the Dogon tribal areas. And Kiva was there and served as a guide and translator.
So you had to go to Timbuktu to meet Keith.
Yes, that was one of the first universities in the world in Africa.
Wow, sweet.
And from what I understand is that one of the great kings of Mali, Mansa Musa, had traveled to Egypt along the caravan route to bring back knowledge from Egypt into Africa to help explain some of the mysteries of the Dogon people. There's a big connection there with Egypt.
Can you share that information?
Oh yeah, it's I put some of it in the second book, The Final Countdown: Rockets to Venus.
Okay.
This is the Sankore Mosque in Timbuktu, and it continues to attract scholars from around the world. It was a university that was founded 1,800 years ago during Europe's Middle Ages. It was a home to a rich writing tradition that saw the creation of millions of manuscripts, hundreds of thousands of which survive to this day. Some of the kings of Mali had knowledge of lands far to the west, across the Atlantic Ocean of the Americas. And one thing that's real interesting is that people who go down to the east coast of Mexico, slightly above the Yucatan, will find these Olmec statues, and these seem to represent African faces, people
Yeah.
from West Africa. So we know that there were connections between ancient civilizations and even between some continents that existed long ago that aren't there anymore. But these ancient people had knowledge of Atlantis, Lemuria, and Hyperborea, and all these other places. And a lot of that information is locked up in libraries and ancient manuscripts, like at Timbuktu in Africa. So we're getting into like Indiana Jones type stuff here, real mysteries pertaining to geography, history, astronomy, a whole bunch of fields. So Kiva's star revelations are found in my book, The Final Countdown: Rockets to Venus, in chapter 6. And being recognized as a Hogan or shamanic leader of the Dogon, there was much about the Sirius star sector that he pointed out to me, all confirming what had been told to him and several other pilgrims. So, that's my book. The
Go back,
second
go
one.
back. Don't leave out the other part.
Okay. Go
Go
back.
back. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's see.
Go back one slide.
Oh, by Lady Ankara, Venusian mothership commander. But there'll be more about that later on in this presentation
Okay, we
to
can't leave out
explain
Lady and Cara, your beloved.
it.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So one of the early Dogon revelation is that Sirius A and its invisible companion of Sirius B. The Dogon religion reveals that the Dogon tribe was visited by aliens from the Sirius star group some 5,000 years ago. These aliens were from a largely water world, much like that was much like Mars in its early history, that bestowed their knowledge of their home planet on the Dogon. The Dogon call these aliens the Nomos, from whom they gained an extensive knowledge of the Sirius star system before the outside world even had a clue about it. In other words, the Dogon tribe would not only need the astronomical knowledge, but also a telescope in order for them to have the information they already acquired from the Nomos.
Now, Raymond, isn't Nomos around Sirius C?
Oh yes, and so yeah, we're going to get into that as we proceed here, and because they're all interconnected, and it's much bigger and more expansive than anybody has previously realized.
And there's obviously many various types of Syrian inhabitants, ranging from humans, I guess, to fish people.
Fish people and mantids. This is the it is these are the home worlds of the mantids, the
And
ones that control the stargates, and they're not even human, but they're far advanced than any other beings.
yes, and soon to be the inhabitants of evacuated humans. We'll get to that later. First, a message from our sponsor.
Yeah, buy the Venus Rising books. So,
Yep.
okay, the Dogon understand that Sirius is a triple star system with dozens of planets and hundreds of moons spanning 25 astronomical units. An astronomical unit is equivalent to the distance of the Earth from our own sun, which is 93 million miles. So times that by 25, and you'll see how expansive the Sirius system really is.
That's a giant star set and three there's
Oh, yeah, it's
three stars
unbelievable.
out there. Yeah, wow.
So Sirius B is a star that's invisible to the naked eye. According to the anthropologists who visited the Dogon in the 1930s, the tribe was aware of the existence of this star, which they called Potolo. Furthermore, they knew every detail of Potolo. It's a white dwarf star, the length of its orbit in years, the shape of its orbit, and the fact that it is quite dense. The Dogon also say there is another star in the system called Enomeya, which astronomers are now looking for. At right, Sirius B is so close to Sirius A that it can only be seen with the aid of a very high-powered telescope, such as the one at Mount Palomar in California. Possible Sirius C, a very faint brown dwarf star, can also be seen in the central southeastern quadrant of this photo.
Wow. So Emma Young, amazing.
So Sirius B's existence was confirmed by modern astronomers. Sirius A, which they call Sigitolo, is the brightest star in the constellation of Canis Major, or the Great Dog. That's a Latin word for it. Sirius has come to be known down through the ages as the Dog Star. An astronomer from Northwestern University, where Dr. J. Allen Hynek was, incidentally, in Evanston, Illinois, Dr. Alvin G. Clark confirmed the existence of Sirius B, or Potolo, on 31 January 1862, which he euphemistically dubbed the pup. So you have Canis Major, which is the big dog, and then you have the pup,
Yeah,
all in the
the
same
pup
stuff.
Canis Major, and then the pup is it's not as
Sirius B, the smaller one.
right, right. Yeah.
So here's a star map.
And where have
So
we
yeah, yeah,
oh,
to see where it is in the heavens.
okay, go back.
Uh,
You got to go
yeah.
back. There we go.
Oops.
Oh, you're going forward. Go back. Go back. The other way, cause. You can, don't let them seal this.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where you go? Where are you going, cause?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay. Now play from current slide.
Oh,
Go up to the top.
oh yeah, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
You hold
We
on.
we we
Make it
all
big.
know we all know how to find Orion in the sky, right? With the three
Right.
stars.
Just a second. Take your cursor up to the top and play from current slide. No, there you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So can you see my pointer here?
Yeah, we can. That's Canis. That's Orion's belt.
Yeah, that's Orion's belt. So you look for Orion's belt, which everybody can pretty much locate because they're the only three stars that are in a row. That's Orion's belt. And then proceeding in a downward direction at a slant, it'll take you right to the fourth brightest object in the sky, which is Sirius. So the first order is the sun, then the moon, then Venus, and then Sirius, a star. It's the brightest star, and the fourth brightest object in the night sky.
Circle the pup.
Oh, okay. The pup. Okay, so we have Sirius A here, and then the pup would be uh, yeah, would be right around. Yeah, this the pup would be uh, like maybe right here, just so faint that you could
Okay.
hardly see it
All right.
because that it's so blocked out by the intensity,
Of
the
the A and
brilliance
B. Yeah.
of Sirius A.
And B.
Okay, and B, yeah. Okay, astronomical knowledge of the Dogon. In 1950, the French anthropologist Dr. Marcel Grial published a study of the Dogon tribe of Mali in West Africa, in which he described an elaborate Dogon ceremony centered around the star of Sirius. The Dogon informed Griale through sand paintings, just like the Hopi and just like the lamas in Tibet, using the same kind of sand painting, that Sirius was accompanied by a very heavy companion star, Sirius B, in a highly elliptical orbit, circling Sirius A every 50 years, but that it was completely invisible to the naked eye, and that this information was revealed to their people 5,000 years ago when they were first visited by sky gods.
Can you share screen again so we can see? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Is it
You took it off.
oh, it
Beautiful.
says you are screen sharing.
No, you are not.
I'm not.
No.
Oh, huh. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put stop share
Yeah. And then screen
and
share
then I'm
again.
going to go back.
He has beautiful blue eyes, doesn't he, folks?
Share.
There we go. Uh-oh. Raymond has a new computer and he had some glitches on that one, so we've gone back to his old one.
Is
Uh-oh.
it doing it now?
Yeah, you got to get your double screen. Yeah. Let's go up to the part and click on from current slide again. Take
Okay.
take your cursor up there.
I
From
can't
current
see the
slide.
pointer. The pointer's lost in the white. Blinded by the
Okay,
blinded by the
move it
light.
around, cause. Okay, move it around. Go higher. Move
Oh,
it
oh there. Oops.
with your mouse back and forth so you can see it.
Okay.
I can't see it. Okay.
Rob, I can't see it. It's
I'm gonna
like, okay, so we could go back, uh, going back to this slide with the um, evidence that they knew about the Dogon, knew all about Sirius A and B and the 50-year orbit and many other information that could only be gained by astronomers through the use of a telescope. And so we continue to learn more from the Dogon about Sirius A, B, and C than ever before. And that's what is presented in this slideshow.
You don't have to use your cursor, cause you can just push the button on the right that
Oh,
points to the right.
okay.
That should just there you go.
Oh, okay. So as they have another companion that the Dogon knew about, a star called Emaya, which our scientists say is Sirius C, whose existence is also confirmed. At Sankore in Timbuktu, Kiva revealed that the Dogon also had knowledge of a third star in Sirius Sector, a brown dwarf that orbits both Sirius A and B at an elliptical orbit of some 25 astronomical units out from Sirius A at its greatest extent. An astronomical unit is 93 million miles. At its point farthest away from Sirius A, it would be about um, two, uh,
Billion.
yeah, 2,325,000,000 miles out, about the same distance as Saturn from the Earth.
Oh, okay, cause so how many astronomical units is our solar system?
Oh, our solar system, uh, our solar system, we don't even know the end of it yet because we're still discovering more planets out there beyond the Oort cloud, what we call trans-Neptunian objects. So apparently, we have one of the more extensive solar systems in our local sector of the galaxy.
Are you talking about invisible dimensional planets, or are you talking about
Oh, I'm just talking about the
physical planets?
physical planets. So we haven't even reached the end of it, but so far they believe that there's at least 12 planets, physical planets in our solar system, and maybe 48 others that are concealed by another dimension.
Right. So, but how far out would Sirius be? It's about at its farthest point now, 1,500 years away. I mean, I'm sorry, the Nibiru. Um, I'm sorry, Nibiru is star in a very long elliptical orbit, folks. Raymond Keller has confirmed it's nowhere near here. It's 1,500 years away. When it does come, it'll cause some geological changes, but at that point in time, we'll have floating cities and we'll be members of the Galactic Confederation, and that's for sure. I think, right, Cos? Probably.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Well, okay, so let's talk about Sirius C as a brown dwarf. This is a failed protostar or a substellar object. It's not massive enough to sustain nuclear fusion of ordinary hydrogen into helium at the core, unlike a main sequence star. Instead, they have a mass between the most massive gas giant planets and the least massive stars. So it would make it the Sirius C would be like a giant Jupiter, about 13 to 80 times the size of Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. However, they can fuse deuterium, and the most massive ones at 65 plus times the mass of Jupiter can fuse lithium. Those through accretion attaining to a mass greater than 80 times the mass of Jupiter can flare up into becoming low mass stars. So here we see different types of brown dwarfs. Low mass star, a brown dwarf, and then a Jupiter-sized planet, and then a regular sun or a main sequence star. So modern astronomers have searched for Sirius C. In 1995 and 2008, French astronomers published reports on the recent observations, summarized as follows. Apart from Sirius B, no other sources detected within the 25 astronomical unit field. However, using the perturbations of Sirius A and B and theoretical spectra of brown dwarfs and planet-sized objects, we also show that the end of the brown dwarf sequence is reached in the outer part of the image. A minimal detectable mass at 10 times the size of Jupiter is projected at a distance of 25 astronomical units from Sirius A. So here's a confirmation of what the Dogon were talking about in 2 centuries ago, when when the French first arrived in that region of Africa.
At our level of technology, we're only able to infer it by the perturbations of the magnetic pole of the star, and I guess in what we call affecting the orbit of Sirius A and B.
Yes, this is the same technique that we've used to discover trans-Neptunian objects in the Kuiper belt, um, and beginning with Pluto and then with Xena and other worlds beyond in our own solar system. And then what we use with the Kepler probe that's in space to find exoplanets is to find when a planet crosses the face of a star, then through the spectra, we can determine what the atmospheric composition is, the size of the planet, and so forth. So we now know of the existence in our own galactic neighborhood of of at least 12,000 exoplanets, many of them that are very, very Earth-like. So we're definitely not alone in the universe. We now know much more than we ever did even 10 years ago. So what we know from the galactics about Sirius A. Sirius A is called by the galactics as Sothis. It is 10 times larger than our own sun, twice as massive, and registers 20 times as much luminescence. So it's one of the brighter objects in the heavens. It is the largest, most brilliant star in our hemisphere and is known as a blue-white star. Sirius A is 8.7 light years from the Earth and moving on a direct course toward our solar system. So one day our solar system will meld with the Sirius system and we'll all be part of it. It is located in the jaws of the Great Dog, Canis Major constellation, hence known as the Dog Star. It is visible in the northern hemisphere of our evening sky from November through April and can be located by following a direct line through the belt of Orion toward the horizon. It has 2 companion stars and collectively exhibits enormous gravitational fields. Sirius B, here you see Sirius A, much larger than our own sun in the center. And then you see Sirius B, which is in close vicinity and much smaller. It's a white dwarf star with the equivalent mass of our sun packed into a globe just 4 times the size of Earth. It travels in an elliptical orbit around Sirius A, which it completes in a 50-year cycle. Although it was only discovered by the scientific community some 50 years ago, the Dogon tribes knew of Sirius B, which they described as a heavy, small, powerful star as early as 5,000 years ago. Okay, here we come to information obtained by myself through meeting Lady Ankara, and made a pilgrimage with Reverend Clayton Parker to Mount Shasta in 1987 with other members of our group called OSIRIS, Outer Space International Research and Investigation Society, where we encountered on the mountain Lady Ankara, a Venusian emissary beaming in from the Sirius star sector. Here's a UFO photographed over the northern ridge of Mount Shasta in California, and it was a little down from this this part of the mountain where we first met up with the materialization of Lady Ankara, who was later identified as Annalise Guerin. She's a mothership commander from Venus operating in the Sirius star sector. This is a UFO that was shown on the Fox News in 2019 from the Mount Shasta area while the From Venus with Love conference was taking place there. And that's with the Promise Revealed and Rob Potter. Every year it's held there. And then here's some other clouds that Dorothy Martin, who I wrote about in my book about West Virginia Paranormal Gateway, she ultimately moved to Mount Shasta and published a beautiful book about the sky ships that would appear over Mount Shasta, and sometimes they would take on the appearance of these uh, cirrus types clouds to conceal themselves when they're operating in the Earth's atmosphere. So I got to meet Dorothy Martin when I went up to Mount Shasta for the first time with Clayton Parker.
He was there when you went up in 87?
Yeah, she was there before we went up. We met with her at her house.
Oh, cool. Those are lenticular clouds. I was actually in town when these appeared.
Oh wow. And
Well, one
well,
of
it's interesting because our friend who is one of the speakers there, he didn't want to uh, let his name get out, but he showed me some photos that he had taken and that some friends had taken while the conference was going on of some UFOs that looked like a Ferris wheel.
yeah.
And then the reporter from the paper that interviewed me and Tatiana Irvin, she said that while that conference was going on, that people were taking photographs of of a UFO over that area in McLeod,
Yeah.
where the meeting was taking place. So,
They're going to be showing up for Omnic and Raymond Keller at my Mount Shasta Summer Conference workshop. For those of you who are interested, check out my website. All the details will be up. We're not doing a big conference this year. We're only going to have 40 guests, 40 only, with maybe 6 or 8 support staff. We're renting a giant Airbnb, and we'll be able to have a room that seats 50 yoga, meditation, mantras. We'll be taking excursions to the mountain, and you'll get to see Raymond Keller every day and ask him thousands of questions.
and Omnek too. Don't forget that
Of
too.
course, Omnek is the queen.
Okay, so Lady and Kara passed along much information about the Sirius star sector, and I wrote about this extensively in the first two books, Venus Rising and the Final Countdown, Rockets to Venus.
Please explain who Lady Ankara is and your first life, and then, of course, when you met her on the mountain of Mount Shasta.
Oh, okay. Well, Lady Ankara, I had known in my first incarnation as Publius Verilius Maro, and as a poet and a scribe in the Roman Empire in the first century BC. And then later on in this life, she was known as Annalise Guerin, and she wrote about 9 books about uh, what it's like on the other side of the veil in celestial realms, and how you get into heaven through the back door. In other words, without dying, being taken up bodily into heaven, like Enoch or Elijah in the and or John the Revelator or others in the Bible.
That's called dissection or translation. You want to share about that and then explain about how you met her on the mountain?
Oh yeah, well, Clayton said to our group, Osiris, uh, the chapter in Salt Lake City, a meeting in Murray, Utah, if we wanted to go meet an ascended master and led us on an expedition, a trek to Mount Shasta. And when we got to the base of the mountain, he just said to follow the path up as far as it would go, which we did. He stayed behind because he was 87 years old at that time. He died at the age of 98. But at that time in 1987, he was 87 years old.
So
And
that meadow that he went to, folks, is now called Southgate Meadow, but we knew it back then as Squaw Meadows. Go ahead, Cause.
okay, it's a beautiful area. It's right above the tree line, just right above the tree line. In and out, there's an outcropping of rocks there, and and a spring of water. So we were all stopping there to uh, get some water and take a break. And then a beam of sparkling light came down and like a gold sparkling light. And then she just stepped out of the middle of it. And we were so startled. We didn't know what to say. She told us not to be afraid, that she was there to answer our questions about flying saucers. And we stayed there for, I'd say, maybe about 2.5 hours. And we asked many questions, and she provided many answers, all about the Venusian and intergalactic colony that exists on a planet called Balaton in the Sirius star sector that was uh, guarded and presided over by the mantids who open and close these stargates. And it just such an amazing story, but it would take forever to explain it. That's why I put that why I wrote the Venus Rising book to go
So,
into that in more detail.
well, could you just tell us? She was talking to you via a bilocation signal. She was actually on the planet Belaton, and the group actually witnessed some of the mantis beings. They looked like they were climbing on the mountain, but they were behind her. Could you just share one little snippet of what was she doing there, and what are they preparing on Sirius B, Belaton planet?
Okay, well, on Balaton, what they're preparing are uh, she's explained that it's like a cosmic incubator, that new worlds are being created all the time, and that these are being prepared for people of Earth and other star systems when the Earth is mature enough to enter as the 602nd planet of the Galactic Confederation of Light, which encompasses 51 solar systems,
And 601 worlds.
601 worlds so far.
There is some misinformation being bandied about by alleged people in the know that there's no such thing as a Galactic Confederation, just the Galactic Federation. And obviously, folks, I'm here, and Raymond Keller, the adept Venusian, is here to tell you that and the Queen of Venus, Valiant Thor, and the others who we've spoken with personally have told us that the Galactic Confederation of Light is real. There are many federations, galactic federations, one called the Alliance, and some planets are actually dual or sometimes members of three different federation groups. Continue, cause I
Oh
just
yeah, let me elaborate on that because here on Earth we have many alliances. For example, the Earth is on Earth. The United States is a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the Organization of American States, the United Nations, and all kinds of international groups and consortiums. And the same thing exists in space. There are many different alliances and organizations, and many of them overlap. So they could be members of several different groups. And the reason that Venus and other worlds are in a galactic confederation is because, as we see through all the revelations given by Dorothy Martin, Annalise Guerin, and others, that there are not just humanoids, but there are many different forms of life coming from planets with different atmospheres and environments that aren't necessarily conducive to each other. So they would have different agendas, different needs, and so forth. But they recognize the need to be part of a confederation, which allows them for more autonomy, so that they're not dictated as to how they should exist and control their planet by species uh, other than their own, that they could be part of an organization that allows them sufficient sovereignty and independence to act together in mutual interests when necessary, but to maintain their own rights and sovereignty at the same time. So this is the practicality of a confederation over a federation. The federation requires more strict controls and wouldn't allow its members to have the freedom necessary to act independently when needed.
Excellent. Thank you, Cos. I really appreciate you
Oh,
sharing.
you're quite welcome, Rob. I think that needs to be explained, and I should say that the universe is a very big place. And of course, there's room for all kinds of alliances and groups. And in the Confederation of Light, they respect the sovereignty of each member state to join any other alliance or organization that they feel promotes um, their own interest.
One thing I'll say, folks, if you'd like to see some of those other beings that went to the Confederation, Raymond was given a book by an Earthwoman named Lady Columba. Go under books, and it's called Venus Revelations. And in that book, when she lived on Venus and the moon from 4 years, from 1958 to 1961, she was actually drawing, as an artist, drawing council meetings, and you'll get to see a bee person, a blue avian being, like Corey Good talked about. You're also going to see a Ganesha being, a turtle-like being, uh, almost like a furry Sasquatch of a smaller stature, but you can actually see these as actually drawn in person.
Yeah, this is a beautiful book, and it was written long before people started talking about other than humanoid beings, and her beautiful illustrations and so forth depict what really goes on the moon, on the backside of the moon, on Venus, and other planets, including Neith, which is a cloaked moon of Venus. It's just a beautiful story, and encourage you to get it. You can also get it in an audio book. The weather lady from the CBS television affiliate in Las Vegas did the narration of the audio book, and I
Audible.
think the audio book is free on Amazon or
Pretty
if
much on
you
Kindle. If you purchase some things on Amazon, you can
yeah,
get,
yeah, it's if you're a Prime member or something like that.
yeah. Speaking of beautiful, look at Annalise Guerin at the age of 16. What a kind of a sacred presence she has. I guess next, yeah, there we go.
Oh, here we go. Well, we were just talking about that. So the Akashic records tell us that while Sirius A is still a three-dimensional stellar presence, what we observe as the dwarf star Sirius B is actually the remains of the ascended star, which has traveled through its own astral cords and now exists in the sixth or angelic dimension. It is here that the members of the Galactic High Council reside in light bodies, and from here that they are directing their overarching enemies to the awakening of all those residing in the 601 planets of the 51 solar systems that comprise the Galactic Federation of Light.
In the way, they're overarching energies, not enemies.
Energies, right.
Beautiful.
So Balaton is a super Earth planet in orbit around Sirius B. Lady Ankara confirmed to me that the Venusians and other extraterrestrials had established colonies on a super Earth planet called Balaton in orbit around Sirius B, a small but heavy white dwarf star that itself orbits the larger Sirius A. Balaton is 3 times as large as the Earth, composed of 2/3 land with a mountainous terrain, much like Northern California, and 1/3 fresh surface water. So we see how the mantis and the bee work together. The bee, of course, is associated with the planet being Venus, the planet of the bees, or Abahar, and the mantis with the opening and closing of the Sirius stargates. The mantis is the highest form of indigenous life on the planet Balaton. The mantis is from 5 to 15 feet long on Balaton and is allied with the honeybee, some 5 to 8 feet long on Venus in the galactic hierarchy of light. The natural enemies of the mantis and the honeybee are certain species of the ant and wasp. These are the predators that rob and devour their eggs. It is therefore natural that the mantis and the honeybee partner to advance their mutual survival and other interests throughout the galaxy.
Let's talk about that flyer, Cause. What was that about? Did you go to that?
Oh, the what that family adventure jungle?
Yeah.
Oh no, I just saw the picture for it, and I thought it was a beautiful representation of the cooperation between these two insectoid species in the galaxy.
And what's this jungle ride?
Yeah, it's a ride, amusement park ride.
Okay. Let's carry on.
Okay, so here we see oops, it was blocking by the other thing there. Okay, this is how the ancients on Earth regarded Sirius as a gateway to the stars, to the heavens, with the angels like Jacob's ladder, angels climbing up and down, coming back and forth from Sirius. So they had an understanding of the Stargate. And the Venusians and other galactics have established human colonies in this same star sector. So the Egyptians and ancient civilizations, the Greeks and others here on Earth knew about this portal connecting Sirius with the Earth.
Is this where ISIS came from?
Yes, that's Isis, Lady Isis,
Please share with
as,
us. Uh,
as in Helena Blavatsky's Isis Unveiled.
and Helena Blavatsky's ISIS kind of represented um, the natural earth energies. Can you explain about the personification of ISIS in that uh, Egyptian time? And was she from Sirius or an incarnated starseed? Or could you explain a little bit for us about the historical significance of Isis and the Earth history? The Pleiadians said that you know uh, there
Oh,
was
Rob, I'm going to take a little break. I'll be right back.
okay.
I'll
Uh,
be right back.
okay. All right, folks. I guess while we're waiting for Cause to come back, I'm going to go ahead and show that image, if I can, of the various beings um, in the Lady Columba images here. So I'm going to share with you. Here it is. I'm going to share a screen now for a moment while he's gone and show you the various beings at the council meeting that Lady Columba was privileged to witness as an Earth person. So I'm going to go ahead and share this uh, little image. I've shared this before for those of you who are new. So here we see the big guy in the center is Vorton, which stands for Venusian Observation Ranger. He's quite tall. I'm going to guess he's going to be 7 to 9 feet tall. He was the one that took Lady Columba, aka Annabelle Scrubs, picked her up in a cigar-shaped mothership from Williams, Arizona, and then eventually took her to the moon base. And this is a spaceship cloaked around the moon called the Leviathan. And you see the woman that I met, the moon base commander, Aura Range, in her red beret, the blue avian being of Corey Good, a little more feathers. And of course, the bee people of Venus, you can learn about them in the third book, Cosmic Rays Excellent Adventure. And then there's another guy who doesn't need a helmet. And then there's a guy playing with a table there. It looks like a little Wookiee or a little being from Endor. And then you see another humanoid type being, probably within the solar system. He needs his own atmosphere. And then there's a turtle-like being with, you can see four. I think he has six eyes on his head. And then we see a beautiful Ganesha being from around Saturn. I'm going to stop share. And Raymond, you're going to go ahead and share screen again. And there
Okay.
we're
All
back.
right.
So tell
It,
us
it,
about Sirius and Isis and the night she cried.
all right. Is it back on again in the
They're
picture?
back on. You're right there.
Okay. Um, well, as you know, um, there are many Gnostic references in the Bible itself. For example, we know that God is a spirit, and those that worship in spirit and truth. God being a spirit is a neutral force, but manifests as both male and female created were created in the image of God. So we know that God has a dual aspect, and many civilizations manifest a higher um, female aspect of deity. The Egyptians had Isis, the Romans had Venus, and so forth. So here we see in the picture on the right is Isis, the highest manifestation of the female divinity uh, into their perception, to their understanding. And this is kind of lacking in our contemporary society, where we mostly view God and divinity through a masculine perspective. Uh, and of course, there is a masculine perspective, but we neglect the female perspective. And even Annalise Guerin, in all of her writings, talks about
The importance
uh,
of women.
yeah, the female divine, the divine feminine. So this is very important, and it's a main feature of my writing in the Venus Rising series, especially the first book to come to understand this concept. At this point, I want to share something with you, because
Do
I'm working
it.
on it. Might be one of the last things that I'm that I'm working on, but it's I think it's important to share this. So I received a package in the mail, and all of these are the hand bound copies of Hope Troxels. These are all of her files from June Lake in
Right. Where did you
California.
get those, Cause?
Well, I can't really
Yeah, I
divulge
know. Can't,
divulge, but this is it. This is the real McCoy
Venusians have printers
right
on
here.
board their
And
ships. Let's put it that way.
these are from her personal file. These are her books from the
Wow.
1950s.
Mint
And
condition copies somehow magically
yeah,
reproduced.
they're mint condition. They're not even worn. They're brand new.
On faking new, kept in some archival location somewhere
But
on Sector 1.
the important thing is that Hope Troxel was at every single one of the interplanetary spacecraft conventions. of George Van Tassel that were held from 1954 to 1978. And she was a friend of Daniel Fry and also of Palin Dixie Garrett, and was in the first understanding units established by Daniel Fry in that time. So I've been given this information for the purpose of restoring this knowledge to the earth, and I haven't done it yet.
Maybe we'll be staying past August of this
I
next.
haven't done it yet, but these were bound by her, and that's her own writing and everything. And these are her own personal copies. These were the first. They were like the blue mimeograph things. Remember when
Yeah.
we were in grade school and the teacher would run those things off,
And
and
we'd
then
smell them when they came in. Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
we'd smell them and get high off of them. So that's what this is. But these are her own copies, and she took intricate care to put each one together, and she even put you know special flower binding in there, and
Yeah.
she put postcards from
Andromeda,
postcards in here that she glued in there from the
June Lake.
yeah. And so it contains all the revelations that were given from the Venusians and other galactics to her about the end times.
I'm
And
guessing that there's a sub base underneath the June Mountain as well.
and nobody paid any attention to these
Well, she
when
was
they
a woman, of course.
yeah, when she was they ignored her. But they came
Well,
out, and
the people in the know didn't ignore her, but you know,
so now I've got them. So maybe that's one of the last things I'll do on the earth is put these out.
yeah, put those out and then editing my book before you go. So this is good news, folks. He may finish his special book he's working on now. He didn't want me to mention it.
And then we've got the Dr. Frank Strange's one.
Yeah, that's coming real soon. Don't worry.
And if people want to know more about Dr. Frank Strange's and some of the other important work that he did on Rob's site, The Promise Revealed, we have some of the articles in that series. I think there's like 39 of them so far.
Yeah, I didn't actually publish all those cause. I thought you wanted to keep those private, so I have not
Oh,
published
okay.
them. I'm going to wait for
And
the book, but um,
yeah,
I
well,
didn't want to give. You
the
gave so many
important thing,
chapters.
the the real important thing is that when people are looking for the truth about flying saucers and the real UFO disclosure, the closer you go back to the beginning of the era of flying saucers to 1947 through the first half of the 1950s, that's where you're getting the closest to the truth, and the rest of it after that is more or less a big obfuscation
Yeah,
of what's
psyops
really going on.
of channelers and alleged contactees. They're out there, folks, the real ones, but there's so many people in the know channeling, and I have people telling me I've changed the timelines. There's a lot of crazy people out there who are claiming I am the goddess this, I am that. But guys, let's go back to one of the questions. Go back to the ISIS
Oh
page.
yeah, let's go back to the thing
I
there.
want you to answer the question. Tell us more about ISIS in Egypt and of course in Greece and in Rome and and Troy, there were extraterrestrials walking and talking amongst them and living. They were called Lady Venus, and these were actually extraterrestrials clandestinely living on Earth. Can you tell us about uh, Isis? Was she born on Earth? Or do you think she was a Syrian?
All of the Egyptians are closely related to the Sirius star sector.
You mean their entire, the large-headed Egyptians, the Anunnaki?
No, the ISIS, the whole ISIS um, regimen, the whole concept of the female divinity.
Right, but I want you to tell me about with Isis and Horus and what happened there in that fall
Oh,
from
okay. Well, Isis, of course, was the wife of Osiris, and they had a son, Horus, who is Horus.
right.
And so when uh, when 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 Isis had discovered that Osiris was dead, she was the one responsible for helping to bring him back from the land of the dead into a resurrected form and to be on Earth again.
Right. And wasn't he killed by their other son, Seti or Seth?
Set was the brother of Osiris.
Oh, the brother. So he
Yeah,
was the one that killed him.
yeah,
And so she did succeed in bringing back Osiris back to life.
yes, yes, that's
And
right.
something about she couldn't find his penis, though, or something. Is that right, or is that just myth?
Well, there's something about that in the story. Yeah,
Okay. So,
the basic thing of it is though that there is life that goes on, and it you just pass through one door and go into another. You go on to the other side. Some
okay.
say like a veil or something, but we we do go on.
Thank you, Cos. I'm going to let you continue with your slideshow. I appreciate the little segues we're doing.
Oh, okay, no problem. All right. Um, So, from the Egyptian text, the Book of the Dead, it explains the Sirius Stargate connectivity of all inhabited galactic systems. Note the mantis like entity at the center of the portal controlling the access. So, I provide a detailed explanation of this Stargate in my first book, Venus Rising, A Concise History of the Second Planet.
As a side note, folks, uh, Joseph Smith was able to read any language with the help of the Urim and Thummim stones, which he was given by the Venusians, along with the breastplate that was given to him. And the Mormon Church purchased this particular hieroglyph from Egyptian, um, let's call it
Archaeologist.
archaeologist that was traveling, and he needed some money. So he sold this. And of course, Joseph Smith broke this down and read it. And what was the interpretation? Is that hidden in the Mormon libraries? This has something to do with what the Mormons called the kolob, or the Grand Central Sun.
Oh, yes. So what this is, and then with the help of Clayton Parker and our group, Osiris group in Utah, one of the chapters of the Osiris, we we examine this in terms of being a stargate and through the great central sun of connecting with other star systems and information about these other realms and other star systems that are connected through the portals of these manted beings. So it's all detailed explanation with significant esoteric meaning for all these symbols is in the Venus Rising book.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Just what these other solar systems are, and the beings that are there, and how they're connected through these tunnels of light, or fluosi, as the Egyptians called them, with the great central sun.
You'll note the all-seeing eye, or the eye of Horus, right? That's on the Masonic symbol. But originally, this information comes from the Anunnaki, these symbols, and there is great knowledge and wisdom in them. And you can read about these symbols and the knowledge of the Anunnaki in the book, in the series of books called the Transylvania Sunrise series. Transylvania Sunrise, Transylvania Moonrise, Egypt, the First Tunnel, and all of those written by Radu Sinamar and translated by uh, that guy um, Peter Moon. Okay, next slides, Cos.
Okay. So Lady Ankara also confirmed the existence of Sirius C in a visit with me in 2012. She confirmed the Dogon information, giving the names for the stars and planets in the Sirius star sector as they are known by the Galactic Federation. Yes, Cosmic Ray, it is Sirius C, and it certainly does exist, just as your compatriot described it. In the Sirius star sector, the main sequence star, Sirius A, is known as Sothis, while the white dwarf Sirius B is called Cetus, and the other dwarf star, Sirius C, Anu. Anu's dimness has prevented your astronomers from so far observing it, at least with conventional telescopes. Of course, that is not to say that they haven't tried to find it. So Annalise Guerin, immediately at the right, before becoming a translated being later known as Lady Ankara, Venusian mothership commander, following her translation and ascension from Mount Shasta in Northern California.
Wow, I didn't know she actually translated from here. So she came up here, they came down, pick her up.
Yeah,
So she just went on board the spaceship and now she's a beautiful young lady, right?
she drove up for, she was driven up there from Reading by Clayton Parker.
Wow.
And then she ascended from directly from Mount Shasta.
So she had a last meal, probably of apple pie
Annie's apple pie.
and his apple pie. And so she just walked up in the mountain. Did Reverend Powell get to witness the spaceship coming down? Do you think
Yeah,
there's,
he witnessed her, he witnessed her translation.
which is called getting in the spaceship, like the Hopi elder Daniel Kachavanga, and at the age of 139, right?
112. Chief
112.
Kachanga from the Hopis.
From the Hopi, he translated the same way. After
After he worked with Paul Solom, a Mormon elder, and revealed a lot of information about the Native American connections, and especially the Hopi and some other tribes with the Venusians.
and the arrogant young Hopi elders didn't want him to have the talking stick. 112 elders, and they came in and stole it from him. Outrageous, the prejudice amongst the Hopi against their true spiritual leader. Anyway, all these things will turn out in the wash. So I guess the next slide. I can't wait to meet Lady Ankara, cause maybe maybe you can bring her down one day. Come together next year.
Well, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we know about the galactics from Sirius C. Sirius C, of course, is called Anu, and or Emeya, as it is known by the Dogon people. Although the scientific community has not decisively confirmed the existence of Sirius C, the Dogon knew it by the name of Emeya, and they also described it as revolving around Sirius A, but much farther out than Sirius B. Aeons ago, during the time of the Sirian shift, one of the planets that orbited Anu broke away as a rogue body and for millions of years drifted through space, heading toward our solar system. That planet is Nibiru, the homeworld of the Anunnaki. At right, the arrival of the planet Nibiru and the Anunnaki gods in our solar system 12,500 years ago.
Okay, cause here's a question from the book, the Transylvania Sunrise series. They talk about Anu and them coming here and mining gold. Um, they may have come in another spaceship, I guess, but they claim that it was like more like 325,000 years ago, and they were doing different genetic alterings to get the gold. Now, Alon, our security chief, has confirmed other information obtained from the Akashic records that the Great Pyramid was built 13,500 years ago by hybrids of humans and the Anunnaki. Can you tell me this 2,500 years ago? visit from the Anunnaki on the planet Nibiru, from the planet Nibiru, is it possible that had something to do with the Great Flood?
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, you know, Immanuel Velikovsky wrote the book Worlds in Collision. He talked about a rogue body that entered our solar system that uh, during the time of Moses and the Exodus from Egypt and everything, and he speculated that it might have been. He thought it might have been maybe Venus or some other rogue body, and I think it was. I think it was the planet Anu because it was coming in above the plane of the ecliptic, so it wouldn't be immediately visible until it was right upon us.
Interesting. Um, the Alex Collier said the it will come in from the southern hemisphere this next time. Now we have established through your second book in Rockets to Venus that Nibiru is 1,500 years away. The Pleiadians in their contact notes with Billy Meyer, and by the way, folks, you might want to check out my interview with Britt Elders, one of the original researchers of the Billy Meyer case, who's come out with volume one and two and my website there.
She'll
But
be out at Shasta, right?
no, I asked her. She can't come. She's going to be down at the Conscious Life Expo.
Oh,
I'm going to go there for that and meet her there. So they did identify what they called the destroyer comet every 3,600 years. And this coincides with the planet Nibiru. Is it possible that Nibiru has been coming here for much longer? And that 2,500 years ago and 3,600 years, it's come by in several times. And according to the Transylvania Sunrise series of books, I think it's in Etheric Crystal, the number six in that series, that they do talk about them um, genetically enhancing humans. And Alon actually did indicate that they have been one of the more influential genetic influencers of humanity. So
well, and if it's a sufficiently advanced civilization, they may even have the power to move their own planet as a spaceship itself.
maybe they had come here previously to 2,500 years ago because they're claiming that the influences of the Cro-Magnon were the missing link, which was them when they created the Anunnaki human hybrids, which became the Atlanteans and subsequently influencing the Egyptians. And that's a interesting history. I hope to get a summary of that when I am finally taken aboard the, the Victory ship. I want to know what's going on and what really happened up there.
Well, my 23 and Me said I have 8% Egyptian in me, so I had no idea. But maybe they'll knock on my door.
Okay, I guess next slide.
Okay, this is Nibiru as Planet X. About 12,500 years ago, let's say, or so, right? Nibiru was captured by our sun's gravitational pull when it reached the edge of our solar system. It now occupies a highly elliptical orbit that takes approximately 15,000 years to complete one revolution around the sun. Some refer to Nibiru, a trans-Neptunian object, as the mysterious planet X, although technically it would be considered the 12th planet in our solar system if you still count Pluto as a planet.
And Raymond still counts Pluto as a planet because it has its own moons.
It
So
has its own, it has five moons and it has five moons and it has an atmosphere.
there you go. We're calling it a planet, folks. We're going to poo-poo NASA and the alleged experts.
Yeah, it's definitely a planet. Um, at, at least by all of our prior understanding of what a planet is, it would qualify. I don't know why they demoted it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, the last time any planet crossed the Earth's orbital path was 3,600 years ago. If it was Nibiru, then we are safe for another 8,800 years. The Old Testament of the Bible is replete with numerous disasters that befell the earth 3,600 years ago during the times of Moses and Joshua. Many of the calamities are highlighted in Immanuel Velikovsky's book Worlds in Collision. He speculated that the planet might be Venus.
Okay, Kaz. So the Queen has told us that never since the time of Moses and Noah has the earth seen such dire times. Now, are you saying that the things that happened with Moses were natural occurrences, or were they the result of the hydrogen cloud, which the earth is going through now, turning the waters red by the heat, the famines, all the things that Moses was predicting seem to be similar to what's occurring now. Um,
Well, anytime that there's a rogue body that passes through our solar system, there are a lot of disruptions that tend to have a multiplying effect.
okay.
So let's say that if, well, what Velikovsky said is that Venus was born uh, in the heart of Jupiter, and it passed by as a breakaway moon of Jupiter. But we now know through astronomical studies
And your
that
trip to Venus.
and that there was in fact a planet Nibiru. In the 20 January 2016 issue of Science magazine, Caltech scientists at Pasadena published calculations predicting the exact orbit of a trans-Neptunian planet that matches the descriptions of Nibiru, um, having the most extreme elliptical orbit of all the planets, extending beyond the Kuiper belt, taking 15,000 years to complete one ellipse. Because of this irregular orbit not on the plane of the ecliptic, we wouldn't know it was near the Earth until it was right over us. And there's a YouTube reference there.
So,
Uh,
guys, I'm kind of confused here. The Queen of Venus said that what you said I asked about the planet Nibiru, and she said that you said in the Venus Rising book, and you told me that it's 1,500 years away. So is it 3,600 years or is it 8,800 years? And is it,
oh,
yeah,
oh yeah. So it was 3,600 years ago that that these events happen with its passing here on the Earth, right?
right,
And it's in a highly elliptical orbit of 15,000 years to make one circumference completely around the solar system.
right, okay.
So that means that it would be, it's the 15,000 years is exact, according to the calculations also of these astronomers. So if it was 3,600 years ago during the time of Moses that it happened, it won't be back again until some 8,000 more years.
Oh,
So we don't
I
need
thought
to
you
be,
said 1,500 in the book.
or it said 1,500 or 15,000.
Oh, maybe I misread that. Oh, so it's a long way away.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's not, we don't have to worry about it right now.
Right. What do we have to worry about right now, Cos? Let's go ahead and tell them.
Okay, well, we have many what are called NEOs, near Earth objects. These are asteroids that some of them that we haven't even detected yet and plotted their path, but two of them we have. One is called the Apophos, which will arrive in 2029, and another large asteroid, which will be coming very, very close to the Earth 2 years after that, passing the Earth. So these are definitely going to cause all kinds of electromagnetic and possibly climatic disturbances. Although they're not predicted to strike the Earth, they will definitely wreak a lot of damage.
Right. So the first one, was it the first one that comes within 450 miles of the Earth in 2000?
Yes, that's very close. So it's the moon is 260,000 miles out. So any object coming that close within 450 miles of the Earth, I mean, that is definitely going to cause some disturbances.
That's going to cause a huge tidal pool, won't it?
It'll be passing it'll actually be passing very close to the Earth, but between the orbit of the Earth and the moon.
So
And
when
then another near Earth object asteroid will be coming 2 years after that.
Right. And this coincides with the Pleiadian information they gave to Billy Meyer. He said he'd never come to California because he witnessed an earthquake that the San Andreas Fault would cause a tsunami in LA. He said they will try to rebuild LA, and another similar event will occur 2 years later.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, that's
exactly
very
what
interesting.
this is exactly what Alon told us. So
Oh,
they,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, no. So the Pleiades of Venusians are based on the science and their understanding
They're
of the,
giving us a warning. Yeah.
it's a
A
warning.
clear warning.
Yeah. So sell your property now in Los Angeles, or you won't get a penny for it coming close to 2029 when people realize it's coming. Move
But
on now,
I
chat.
think
I have a couple places for you to buy. No, I'm kidding.
Northern California is definitely safe.
Right. Okay, so there you've heard it from Cosmic Raymond Keller. A little bit, a lot of information. Let's go to the next one, Cos.
Okay. Okay, these are the Caltech astronomers, Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin, that calculated the projective orbit of the trans-Neptunian planet Nibiru based on gyrations in the orbits of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Nibiru is currently believed to be on the very fringes of the solar system, just beyond the Kuiper belt.
Okay, it's spelled Cooper, but you call it Kuiper.
Yeah, Kuiper belt. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, the guy on the right is obviously Batygin, Constantine.
Mhm.
The Slavic features there. So, Cos, wow. So that sounds just at the fringe of our solar system, and that doesn't sound 8,800 years away.
Well, because it's not moving that fast. It's definitely not moving that fast. And when we talk about the Kuiper belt, we're talking about like we're talking on something on the calculation of maybe 6 times as far as Saturn. So I mean, it's not going to be here anytime soon.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I won't get to see it.
Well, at least if we see it, we'll be in a safer place.
All right, guys, next slide.
Okay, the Enome Ya is the homeworld of the Nomos. During the time of the Sirian shift, all the moons of the former massive Jupiter-like planet were themselves elevated to the status of planets in orbit around the newly born brown dwarf protostar Anu or Sirius C. One of these new planets was Enome Ya, a predominantly water world about the size of Mars, and the home of the Nomos, the beings who would later visit Kiva's people, the Dogon in West Africa.
And one of these beings that's allegedly cleared out, made a ditch and went into water. Does that sound realistic?
Yeah, they were
Mermen.
yeah, they were described as mermen, as fish-like beings
Wow, very true.
with having gills and everything.
Wow, my roommate is named Yaya. He's from the
Oh,
Sudan. He's a security officer. That's
huh.
interesting. So his name is Yaya.
Where is he a security officer?
Um, he's working at the secret space program for the Elon. No, I'm kidding. He's
Yeah.
working in weed at the construction site.
Oh, okay.
A really nice guy, though. Can you go ahead and I guess we'll do the It's a fourth dimension, so they're pretty advanced there, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So let's talk about what we know about the Nomos. They inhabit this Mars-sized, water-rich planet Inomeya in orbit around Sirius C, or Emeya, or Anu, as it is sometimes known. After they landed on Earth 5,000 years ago in Egypt and Central West Africa, they were mistaken for sky gods. The pharaohs and kings and priests, Hogons of the Egyptian and Dogon, are literally hybridized descendants of the Nomos who continue to maintain a psychic link to the descendants of their ancestors on the planet Inomeya. Inomeya is a founding planet in the Galactic Confederation of Light, along with Abahar, or Venus. Inomeya is a planet in the fourth dimension, like Venus, whose inhabitants master time, space, and gravity.
So they landed in giant spaceships, is that right? Looking like pyramids.
Yeah, these look definitely like pyramids. Well, that's an artist's conception.
Oh, but they were spaceship that made
Yeah,
shaped like pyramids.
early Egypt and the deserts in Africa.
So they came down and they decided to have sex. They were able to have sex with some of the Earthlings.
Yeah, most likely. We have a lot of what we call junk DNA in our system,
Right.
and they have no idea where it comes from. That probably came from the stars.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Thanks, Cos.
So some other advanced ETs, galactic colonists in the Sirius star sector, pilot of an interdimensional craft, and then myself with Lady Orda of Venus at Landers, California. And so Kiva was supposed to come, but maybe he said he might be able to make it to future conferences. And
Okay.
of course, Omnek will be at this year's summer conference. So that
It's
will
a
be,
summer workshop. Only three people. The first three on the picture there,
uh-huh.
self, Omnic and Raymond Keller. 40 people only for 5 days. Much more intimate. We'll be doing meetings, meditations, and other things together. So we may throw in an extra uh, surprise speaker here and there. Well, Cosmic Ray, thank you so. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Um, the late Reverend Dr. Frankie Stranges introduced the Venusian Victor 1 Starship Commander Valiant Thor to the world and declared that friendly aliens are indistinguishable from angels. That's also what Billy Graham said in his book, Angels, God's Secret Agents. So keep in mind the scripture in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. Let your brotherly love continue. Do not forget hospitality, for through it some have entertained angels unawares. And blessings are extended to you from the Dogon of Earth and our brothers and sisters of Nomo and the Galactic Confederation of Light. This presentation is dedicated to world peace. Many thanks to you all for your kind attention. Peace on earth, goodwill to all, and a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Cosmic Ray and Rob Potter to you.
Right. I'm not gonna share anything, but I am gonna show you a little of my background here. Here I'm gonna show you one of the Valiant Thor's ships here. This is the one that um, is in outer space. He said the Black Knight, but I've seen pictures of what people claim to be the Black Knight, and it looks more like this particular ship here. That's a starship, folks. At the widest point, that is 7 miles wide, 5 miles high, and 14 miles long. That is a Venusian ship that remains cloaked in orbit around the Earth and is basically an embassy where people coming to Earth from the Galactic Confederation of Light to study Earth people come in for a closer a look, and are trained in earthly type societies. And let's call it our kind of sickness. So they know how to not go, oh, those people are really weird. And here's one of my cool devices. I'm looking for a Tesla coil guy to recreate one of my floating ground Tesla coils here. So anyone who knows how to make a flyback Tesla coil, and it's connected to this, it's called an ion shower. So this is one of the last ones. You see, I just finished up the crystallization. We're in the final stages of this, but this has one of the discs that I'm wearing, and there's a gold-plated emitter needle, and you can see this is a super etheric trainer for your body because of the incredible pyramid energy when accelerated by a Tesla coil. And then there's, of course, a little angel. And then we have Jesus, Satyasai Baba, Shirdi Baba, and a nice picture of the mountain in relation to ascension. And then, of course, the cool Omnion. These are available. And this is another one of those great devices created by the Pleiadians. Sorry, I had to have a little infomercial here, but be looking on my website pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. Um, we're going to have all the information and you can buy your ticket. We're going to do discounted tickets. I think they're going to end up being 600, but we're going to start off with, I think, a discount at 450 for early birds, and they're going to be increasing to 600 by the time we get to um, June 28th, the last month or so there. Hopefully, we'll sell a lot more sooner. People will take advantage of the discount. So, Kaz, thank you again so much, and we will see you again soon.
Yes, but by all means, thank you, Rob, and I look forward to seeing those that are so called to come out to Mount Shasta with our sister Omnek and sharing more information about our friendly celestial neighbors.
Right, Kaz, and could you you're gonna be we're gonna be doing a show, two shows on Tuesday. We're gonna do two today. He's gonna be learning his Dell computer and trying to get because he had a camera issue there. But he has some other slideshows he's prepared for us. And we're gonna be doing something on maybe part two of Venus Rising or another presentation on Monday and then maybe next Saturday as well. I want to take advantage of Cause while he's working on stuff, and I'm so glad. When did you get that in the mail, Cause?
Um,
Was that a signature required delivery?
um, it was we'll just say it's hand delivered.
Wow, cool. Uh, say hello to my friend AA.
Okay.
All right, I love you, Cause. Thank
Love
you.
you too, Rob. Love all the viewers out there, and always enjoy meeting you and getting emails and letters and so forth. I try to answer all of them as I can.
Thank you so much, Cause. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Thank you, Rob. Much appreciated.
All right, bye.